Why do I sing at the beginning? I don't know. It's probably because we want to let the stream get going and let people come into the room. Where's my mouse? Where did my mouse go? There it is. What's up, Internet? What's going on? How you doing? Is it Friday? I think it's Friday. Happy to be here on a lovely, lovely Friday. Good to see everybody out there. All your bright and shiny faces. Let me move the chat over here so I can check it out. Pop out chat. Oh, there we go. Gotta bust out the pop out chat so that I can read it and say what's up to everybody and see how you're doing. How's it going today? Who is first to the chat? I forget. Was it Bentley? I think it was Bentley. No, I don't know. My chat reloaded again. I can't remember who was first to the chat. But either way, what's up, Bentley? Good to see you, Big Andy. Big Jerm86 is in the house. Good to see you. 54 Punchy is here. Nick's Fish Room is here. Tony Franzen. What's up? Will's Aquarium. How you doing? Good to see you. Friday Fish Facts. Chevy Smith. Candy Overhauls. Dom 1042 says, I don't know if Turkish coffee has sugar, but tasted Greek coffee while in Greece. It was amazing. As you guys know, I am a gigantic fan of coffee, which is probably why my teeth are no longer pearly white. But whatever. What are you going to do? I'm going to the dentist in about a little over 2 hours from now. So we'll see what the dentist says, if my teeth are healthy, and they'll give them a little shine, a little extra shine from what they normally are. Too Real for YouTube is here. Good to see you. Fish Tropic. Friday Fish Facts. I think I already said hi, but hi. Mr. B's Fishing Things. Wushu Jimmy Brown. Uv Deloriac Peterson. Super hard name. Uv Deloriac. I think I'm getting closer. I need a phonetic pronunciation on some people's names, and that's a hard name, honestly. But good to see you. Thanks for coming out. I've been seeing you at the live streams. Definitely like it. Richard's Tanks is here. Tampa. Tom, good to see you. Chris Thomas, what's up? Good to see you. Foster's Fish is here. Good to see Foster's Fish. Lisa's Pets. Yes, an early show. So happy. To be honest with you guys, I would love to figure out when to do an early show. So if you have an opinion on when you would like an early show, put it in the comments on this video, not in the live chat. There is a way to go. Whoa, my chair just broke. There is a way to go into the comments, even if it is a live stream, because it is a live stream right now, right? Even though it's a live stream, you can still put a comment down below. So let me know. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where's your vote? Where's your vote? I'm kind of down to do any day early. Let me know. Let me know if you want, what day of the week you want me to do it early. The weekends aren't possible right now, but you never know with the future. The future has a baby in it. The future has a bunch of changes in it. There's a bunch of stuff going on. So that is 100%. Well, I guess I'm going to take into consideration what you guys put out there. If you guys let me know what's going on and you put out there what you want, I'm going to take that stuff into consideration. There's no weekends right now, but maybe in the future, there'll be an early weekend show. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But for right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you plop that down in there, let me know, and then we'll figure out how to schedule it from there. As Benjamin P says, define early. Right now it's 12:30 p.m., so it's like lunchtime right now in my neck of the woods, my part of the planet, my time zone, if you will, right? So I guess it's earlier than normal. It's not necessarily early, but we'll consider that. I mean, I don't know. Am I repeating? Oh, I don't know. Am I repeating? Something odd is happening to the stream. I don't know. Is something weird going on with the stream, or is it just 54 punchies? Maybe you need to do it. I don't know. You guys let me know if the audio is like super weird. I got it set up the same, but I did just have to install all the updates into XSplit. So you never know. We'll see what's up. Oh, I see LR Bretts is in the chat. Good to see you, Lucas. I'll be seeing you fairly soon at the Aquatic Experience. I hope to see some cool shrimp, my guy. You know, we'll see. You know, just stopping by to hit the like button. Like I said, I wasn't ready for this. Most of us aren't ready for, you know, mostly anything that goes on at any point in time in our lives, right? I don't think any of us is ready. Is the audio a little bit low? I'll turn it up a little bit. I'll rock it a little louder. How's that? And everybody says it's okay. So maybe it's just, maybe Pamela has two windows open or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens, with the thing. But today is Friday. So typically I answer the Patreon questions on Friday. What is the Patreon? Patreon is the third-party hosted site, how we are able to fund. You know, it's how we fund sponsoring the show. You know, that's how we fund and sponsor the show, how we're able to do it. Is Patreon is the method to the mayhem. That's how we do it. Patreon is what's allows us to do it, you know, allows us to be able to even do the show. So I have time to even show up and stuff like that. We currently have 313 people on the Patreon. And today we'll be running through the community posts. So people post questions and pictures, and maybe you got a YouTube video, maybe you got any of that kind of stuff. It's a great spot to do that, and I do my best to shout it out on Fridays and answer your questions instead of just like typing out a quick answer. I try to do it this way because I think it's more personable, and it also gives an opportunity for a little bit of back and forth. Or maybe if I answered a question strangely, it's much easier for people to go, hey, right now, live, I did this one thing. It worked out really well. And it also gives a chance, you know, like I was saying, for the community to chime in. So we're definitely way into that. On to a little bit of international mystery, intrigue, nonsense that's going on in the world. The United States government, and no, we're not going to talk about the Supreme Court or any of that kind of stuff, but the United States government has instituted a tariff situation on stuff being imported from China. Whether you agree with it or not, I don't care. I don't care if you agree with tariffs or not. That is not the topic of the situation right now. What the topic of the situation is right now is that Corey is actually in he's actually in China, and he actually was talking to the importers of, you know, the people that are importing stuff and making stuff and doing all that those kinds of things. And he actually got the hot button. He's right there. He's got his finger on the pulse. And it turns out that this third string of tariffs that are going into place are going to affect things like lighting. Okay, lighting is on the list. So if you were like importing lights from China, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, that is going to go up by 25%. The prices are going to go up. Okay, so to combat that, Corey has released a sale that is just this weekend. So it's today, tomorrow, and Sunday. That's it. Because then we're going to be rolling into the next month, which is going to change the prices of things. So he's got 10% off. So use the link I just posted into the chat. And I'm pointing with the wrong finger. There we go. We're inverted, remember? I just posted it into the chat. And then use the code AQUA10. You get 10% off all of the lights and food and all that stuff over at the Aquarium Co-op just today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Which is, I think, honestly, a super generous thing for Corey to do, because the prices are going to go up on a lot of things that are being imported. So, you know, there isn't anything we can do about it. We could argue with the government. We could do this. We could do that. And, but, you know what we can do? You know what we can do is we can support one of our local homies off the internet, local homie off the internet, by obviously shopping at his store. I mean, that's pretty obvious. And then the other thing would be take advantage. He's doing the best he can for 10% off before those tariffs take place. And so I think that's kind of the best thing that you could do, kind of the best thing that you could expect out of you know, a local guy. I think it's kind of the best thing that he could do, and I really appreciate it. I think that is awesome. So that's what's going on with that. And then as we move along, today is Friday. I can give you guys a quick auditory update on things going on in the fish room. The two new 120s are in my wood shop right now. So I will say they are quite good looking. I am 100% satisfied with the craftsmanship. They did cost a lot of money. I basically had to put all my pennies aside to get one of them. Victoria bought the other one, so Victoria is going to be in charge of one. But I know a dude named me that is in charge of putting together the I'm in charge of putting together the stand for it. The stand is about 40% done. The structure is all there. I will be wrapping it with plywood and all that kind of stuff later tonight. As I mentioned, I have a dentist appointment, so I'm going to have to go to the dentist and then come back and get back to work. It is coming along quite well. Kind of shooting a little bit of video around it, but I think I'm going to give you guys an overall appraisal of the stand once it's done, and you know, how to maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. To be brutally honest with you guys, I'm not like that excited about making like, here's how to build an aquarium stand. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not that interesting of a video for me at this point. I don't know. I don't know if there's that much. I don't know if there's that much like intrigue at this point, because I feel like most of the people that are gonna build an aquarium stand can pretty easily just look up, you know, designs or, you know, blueprints for an aquarium stand, and then go that route, right? And then just build it, you know. So I don't know if it's like a real hot button topic that like needs to get handled. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I honestly, if you guys really feel like you need that video, let me know in the comments, not necessarily in the live stream comments, but in the comments down below. And then I guess I could probably make one. But as Brandon just said, there are plenty of build videos out there already. Yeah, I mean, there's this old house. There's, you know, there's a lot of videos out there that that really highlight, you know, just essentially just cutting lumber and putting it together. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's just, you know, and I feel like if I make that video, it's not really like, you know, like if somebody doesn't know which end of the tape measure, you know, which end of the tape measure is supposed to come out, right? Maybe that's not for you. Maybe you should just buy one. I don't know. And I don't think I would really do a video that's really going to like teach people how to measure or anything like that. So, I don't know. I'm realistically just saying, I don't know. I probably just will highlight some of the building in the live stream, I think. Which, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I feel like some of the stuff that I put into the live stream is the stuff that just can't really get edited into that great of a video. But I also, like, I really bear in mind, like, the stuff that I put into the live stream is stuff that I could really talk about. You know, I could definitely talk about this stuff, and we could talk about it. If people have questions and stuff like that, then, you know, I can actually answer them as opposed to waiting. Who knows? Mr. Peterson, I gotta call you Mr. Peterson because I don't know how to say your Uvdeloriak. I hope I'm saying that right. It snowed in here. It snowed yesterday in Greenland already. Winter is coming too fast. That is crazy. That is crazy that it's already snowing in Greenland. But I think personally, my impression of Greenland is that it sort of snows all year round, right? Is that not true? Is that untrue? I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe I'm wrong. That's always been my impression. I've never been to Greenland. I would love to go sometime, but I've just never been there. Let's see. Steve Horton says, I think it would be nice to see your input and direction in putting one together at least once. Yeah, I have a bunch of old aquarium stand build videos that I think they're still posted. I don't think I've ever even taken any of my old crazy videos down. And every once in a while I get a comment from people that are just like, man, whoa. They watch some of the old videos and they're like, man, I didn't expect this. The old videos are kind of crazy, but you know. Wushu Jimmy says it's easier to be present earlier in the day. The later in the day, the busier I get at work. Yes, as a chef, the later it gets, the busier it gets. That is very true. You're working in the kitchen, you're grinding. It's always going to be busier later on. Oh my gosh, we got a new Patreon during the show. We got a new patronizer, you guys. Tony Franzen. What's up, Tony? Welcome to the Patreon. I'm digging it. Awesome. Thanks, man. As I've always said, it's astounding to me. Even at this point, to like go to the Patreon and be like, whoa, there's actually people that want to be backers on the show, and that's awesome. I totally appreciate it. I'm never not like surprised by it. I've yet to be at a point where I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's always surprising, and well, that brings our number up to 314. We got to type it in here. 314, because that's pi, as you guys know. It's Pi Day. Whoa. Oh, it's Pi Day here. Oh, Lordy. September 28th, it's Pi Day. I'm digging it. Let's see. Taco reticulata. I don't know how to say that first word. Poecilia? What? I got to look this up. Oh, Poecilia reticulata. Oh, that's oh, you spelled. Oh no, you spelled it right. I spelled it wrong. Now that makes sense. That makes sense now. Okay. I was trying to figure out what that word was. Poecilia. Poecilia reticulata. That's the guppy. That's the Latin name for guppy. I should know that. But honestly, when I'm looking at people's screen names, that's not exactly what I'm thinking of. But it must be from the Taco Union. Must be a big fan of Corey, I'm guessing. If you're a guppy taco. If you're in the Taco Union and you're a guppy taco, you must be a big fan. Asking, will I paint and sell custom aquarium backgrounds? Realistically, no. Oh, Drake says I'm pronouncing it wrong. Poecilia. Poecilia. All right. I probably just got demonetized because they probably think I'm saying P-seal. Yeah. Whatever. But I think realistically, I probably never will paint and sell custom aquarium backgrounds just because It would be it would be exceedingly expensive. It would be prohibitively expensive for people to buy them, honestly. It really just would cost a ton of money, and then people wouldn't buy them. What's the name of that company that Jay Wilson works for? I forget. It's a company that does backgrounds. They do those background inserts and stuff. I've never even got one from those guys or anything like that. But that would probably be a good custom background to go with. Those guys, from what I understand, do pretty good work. But I don't remember who. I can't remember what they're called. Oh, Universal Rocks. That's what they're called. Universal Rocks. I don't have anything to do with those guys. That might be a good place to go if you were looking for a custom background. But I don't think I'll ever sell them because it would be so expensive. I wouldn't be able to find any customers. So, and realistically, I hate shipping stuff. I do. I am not a big fan of it. It's one thing if I was to like ship something, from a warehouse and like the mail people came and got it, but I hate packing it up, finding the right address, making all that. I don't know. For whatever reason, I just don't like doing it. And then I have to go to the post office, and I've always estimated the shipping wrong, and that kind of stuff is just crazy. So I don't think I would ever do that. I don't think that I would. North part of Greenland is in the Arctic Circle, very bright during the summer and 18 hours darkness a day during the winter. Ooh, yeah. That does make sense. Greenland is up in the Arctic Circle. Dom says, just finished installing LED light on my computer's desk while watching the stream. What a good way to start the afternoon. Ooh, that is good. Frank Dominguez says, I hate shipping stuff. That's right, I do. Matt Sorelli, Aqua Decor makes amazing backgrounds as well. Ooh, I like that. That's another company that does cool backgrounds. Johnny Cruz, Universal Rocks. I bought one last year, and it's awesome. Everybody that comes here loves it. Awesome. That's great. It's great to hear. Brendan's asking, will snails or seed shrimp eat tetra eggs? Just got my neons to start breeding, but the tank has a lot of snails. I don't know if seed shrimp will. Shrimp aren't huge at eating eggs, but they will eat biofilm or fungus that's on eggs. But I don't know. Snails? Depends on the type of snail, I think. I wouldn't be that stressed out about it. If you actually get your tetras to start scattering eggs and stuff like that, I'd be more concerned about the tetras, like eating everything else, eating everything that's in there. So that's the hard thing with breeding the tetras, is that the other adult tetras will eat everything that ends up in there. It's possible, depending on the snail, that the snails might eat the eggs, but I think the biggest culprit you're going to be dealing with is the actual tetras themselves. KTHM2 says, what are the impressions from Europe? I've been to Europe a couple times this year, mainly Germany. Germany is the main place. We also went to Austria and Hungary. Quick stop in France. We were going to drive to France this last time we were there, but unfortunately Nico was not at his place. That was one of the places I was super excited to go visit his shrimp room, his shrimp breeding room, his shrimp, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what you call it at this point. I really wanted to go to Nico's house, but it turns out that he was out of town. So if we'd gone there, we could have broken in, apparently. As from what I was told, it's like we could have figured out how to go there and do some international espionage and break in. As Chris has like his key or something. I don't know. So we wouldn't have really been breaking the rules, but it would have been kind of lame that if Nico wasn't there. And I look forward to seeing Nico again. I believe he might be at the Aquatic Experience, as far as I know, possibly. But I might have to go back to Europe to visit there, which that might be a good trip to bring the ladies along because he is in France, which might be good. Send the ladies out, and Corey and I go nerd out and, look at fish and shrimp and stuff, right? Wushu has a great point here. My impression of Europe is that there is a distinct lack of flat water. That is right. There's no, there's really no, like, there just really isn't any, like, water with ice in it. Like, that doesn't happen. Just a drink of regular old water. It turns out that that's, like, a really big deal. Turns out that's a really big, apparently, like, deficit of Europe. Everything's carbonated, which is crazy. So I don't get it. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but Roy Nair says, greeting from Malaysia, Penang. Love your live streams. Oh, thanks, Roy. Thanks for tuning in all the way from Malaysia. Digging it. I wonder what the weather's like in Malaysia today. I'm going to guess partly cloudy and 82. That's going to be my guess. We'll see if Roy will give us a weather update and let us know what's going on. Drake says, oh my God, finding non-carbonated water is impossible. Yeah, it is an impossible feat. You do have to find bottled water that is labeled still. It has to be labeled still. And then even sometimes when it's labeled still, it's just lightly carbonated. I enjoyed it in Europe. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed a lot of the really cool fish rooms and a lot of the really cool the breeders that we saw were next level. The stores that we saw were next level. Like, a lot of the stuff there is way better maintained than a lot of the stuff I see in the States. Although, I just got back from Minnesota. We did so many fish room tours. It was kind of crazy. But we also went on a bunch of fish room tours in Minnesota, and they had a ton of awesome tanks and stuff like that. That was really well maintained. So it is, it's not necessarily Europe versus America. It's sort of you go to the nice places that are well taken care of, and they're well taken care of. But if you take the chain stores, so if you take the large big box stores and you compare them one for one, so like, let's say you take, I can't remember what that store is called. It's like something zoo. It's got something zoo. I'm not sure. And I'm not really sure what the name of the store is, but it's like a Petco or a PetSmart or something. You know what I mean? It's a big pet store, and they have dog stuff and cat stuff and fishes and everything. Like, their big store was hands down way better than any of the stores here. Now, Green Aqua, right? That's all the way over in Hungary. That's one of the reasons we drove all the way there. It was a really long drive. Is different because Green Aqua is basically the ADA store, right? So that is going to be a different experience altogether. There are ADA stores in America. There's one here in the Seattle area. It's actually over in Bellevue. It's pretty small, but you could go there to the ADA store here. There's also one down in San Francisco and a bunch of other ones. So, the Green Aqua is a different kind of store because this specifically is a high-end aquascaping store. So it's a little bit different, but it definitely was. That would be the big difference, I would say. There are a lot of people doing cool stuff in their houses. There are a lot of people doing cool stuff in their houses here also. So that's not so different. The people that are dedicated to the hobby and stuff there are dedicated here also. But I would say it's the stores were the big difference. Corey Roberts calls it it's Mega Zoo, which I think might be right. One of the stores we went into, like, Oliver Knott maintains a giant tank there, right? And that's just like, it's just like a big old pet store, They have a giant installation in the front that Oliver Knott maybe Oliver Knott only set it up. Maybe he doesn't, like, continually maintain it now, but I know that's an Oliver Knott tank. And so that was pretty cool. But Rogue Aquariums has got to go. Big thanks for stopping by the show, for sure. Big thanks for stopping by the house. If you guys don't know, Rogue Aquarium came over the other day and helped me move the 180 out of the fish room. I basically just had to get it outside, and it was either going to be a backbreaker if I did it myself. And since he came over, it was actually fun. We just kind of chatted for about an hour and then moved the tank. And moving the tank didn't take any time at all. We just had a good time laughing and yucking it up. Dom says, in a restaurant, you have to insist on having tap water for non-carbonated, because if you ask for flat water, they give you a bottled water. Yeah, if you ask for still water, they give you a bottle of water. But I'll be honest with you, traveling around the world, kind of the best thing to do is to just get a bottle of water. I'm not saying that Germany has bad water, or Hungary, or Austria, or any of those, or France for that matter, or any of that kind of stuff. But lots of times when you travel around the world, there's just going to be some bacterias and stuff that could be in the water. Just straight off the tap, or possibly something that's in the ice or whatever, that kind of stuff. That it wouldn't necessarily make you sick, but you could just, you could be having a liquid situation the next time you go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So you'd like to avoid that when you're traveling as much as possible, right? So, don't eat McDonald's and maybe just get the bottled water. Brendan Wagner with a $2 super chat says, thanks for everyone's knowledge and wisdom. Very much appreciated. Rogue Aquariums with a $5 super chat. Thanks, brother. It's not only contributing physically to drive over here and help me carry heavy stuff, he's also throwing down a super chat. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. And Corey says, in Austria we have Mega Zoo. Okay, yeah, I think it is called Mega Zoo. It must be what it is. Or maybe Maxi Zoo or something like that. Yeah, it's just sort of like the big pet store there, which I will say they had beautiful planted tanks, a ton of plants for sale, that kind of stuff. It's pretty exciting. K&T says maybe you could go through Croatia the next time you're in Europe. It would be cool. I would love to go to Croatia at some point in time. The last few times, or the 2 times I was in Europe this year, were sponsored. They were especially sponsored trips. So the first trip was to Interzoo, which is the gigantic convention in Europe. And I got to tell you, it's a big convention. If you guys don't think it's a big convention, you're mistaken. Cola Zoo. Cola Zoo, there it is. G-Scooper, that's what it is. It's Cola Zoo. There we go. I'm going to look that up. Let me make sure. Yeah, yep, Cola Zoo. That's how I'm saying it 100% wrong, but yes, that's what I'm looking for. Yep. That's what it is. Oh, you hit it on the mark. G Scooper, good job. Hit the nail right on the head there. But we were there, and so we were at Interzoo for the first one, right? And the next trip was hosted by Dennerle. Which, by the way, some people were asking, because they're super jealous of my Dennerle towel. Which you should be, because this is the most awesome aquascaping towel I've ever got in my life. And I'm going to hold on to it. But people were asking about buying these. I don't know yet. I will be having in-person conversations with the Dennerle people and I'll be able to tell you guys after I get back from the aquatic experience. After I get back from the aquatic experience, I will be able to tell you whether or not you'll be able to get a Dennerle towel or not. In the meantime, I don't know. I don't know. But if they come in, I'll be the first person to tell you, or maybe the second person or something like that. I don't know. Either way, as I mentioned earlier, I just want to give some of the new people that have showed up a quick pointer. Here's the link. Here's the code. Aqua 10. There's the link that's in the chat. You can click on that. It'll take you to the Aquarium Co-op. Corey has a 10% off sale on the whole entire website because of the tariffs that are coming into place. So check it out. Head over there. It's going to be 10% off. If not, that's cool. But just be aware, tariffs are going to be raising the prices on a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to post that in there and move right along. Mark is asking, any thoughts on Aquarium food? Now, one of the reasons that brought me up to post that link there is I would head over to Aquarium Co-op and check out the Sera food line. S-E-R-A. That's how you spell it. Check out their foods. I think that's like a real equatable, like I have some of their food right here. I have some of their shrimp granules. I haven't tried the shrimp granules yet, but I have been pretty happy with the ONIP tabs and the treat mix. These two foods have been working pretty well as I've been kind of testing them out, because I met their director guy a little while ago, and he was showing me some of the overview of how they make their foods and this and that, and I'm pretty satisfied with like a lot of the science and stuff they have going in to the food that they're putting out, and I have been pretty happy with those too. Like I said, I haven't been using the shrimp, so I don't know. I don't have a clue about the shrimp, and one of the main reasons for that is I don't have a test tank. I don't have a test tank for testing the shrimp food, whereas you guys know I do have tanks that I can feed community food to. So I've been feeding community to food of the Sera, like the ONIP and the treats and stuff, and I've been pretty happy. I've been pretty happy with how they've been working out. Noticed a not necessarily better or worse, either way. But Aquarium food, I've never had great luck with it. And it might be something to do with my water quality. It might be something to do, it might have something to do with, I don't know. It might just have just maybe me. Maybe I'm just an idiot and I'm just messing it up. I don't know. Could be just about anything. We have a good question here. What kind of Sera food is the best everyday food for guppies? Honestly, those ONIP tabs are great for guppies, tetras, kind of the smaller fish. I haven't noticed that the ONIP tabs would be good for any of the bigger fish that I have, because they have a tendency to get hammered by the small fish. So the small fish really get after it and sort of get to it before any of my bigger fish can even get to it. But I find that the ONIPs were really helpful. The other stuff I would go with guppies, if I was doing guppies right now, I only have one guppy, as you guys know. The two other foods that I would feed with it would be, and this is just my personal, like, this is personally how I would do it. I would personally go with Rapashi, and then I would probably do Fluval bug bites. I would kind of just rotate those three. That's realistically what I would do. As TC Guppies is saying, ONIP tabs and spirulina tabs. Typically, all of my greenery comes from this guy. Me right here. Most of the greenery I feed comes from me when I am breeding fish like that. I normally will net out duckweed and sometimes I'll grab some spinach or something like that and just make my own greenery tabs. Really, these days that's just kind of the way I do it. Or I just use a Rapashi, what is it called, like Soylent Green or something crazy like that. They all have the Rapashi foods, all have those kind of crazy names, but I really like Alan is a super cool dude. He makes awesome food. I can always recommend the Rapashi food for almost every fish. The Fluval bug bites, I have found nothing wrong with that. And the Sera foods have been quite good also. So I've been pretty happy with all of those more often than not. As far as the greenery stuff goes, I normally just make that myself now, or I'll even just make my own and mix it with the Rapashi Soylent Green and make it up that way, so that there is just some of the natural biofilm and stuff actually coming from the tank that I'm feeding from. Does that make sense? Does that sort of make sense? Because the biofilm, the bacteria and stuff like that from the tank is actually going to be best for the fish that are actually in that tank. I mean, if you have a healthy system. Obviously, if you have a crazy unhealthy system, it might be a problem. Brandon Wagger says, I rotate bloodworms, flakes, and MAB small fish formula. MAB. I like it. I don't use frozen foods. Really, it has been years since I have utilized frozen food. Maybe I should. Maybe I should utilize frozen foods more often. But you know, for just the way that I take care of my the way I go about taking care of my tanks and all that stuff, it just doesn't work out that great for me. More often than not, if I get frozen food, it will just like stay in the freezer and I'll completely forget about it. And then I feel like a total idiot. Chevy Smith says, haven't found anything I really like, thinking about ordering the Aquarium Co-op fry food. Yeah, if you guys are looking for fry food, I would definitely get the Aquarium Co-op fry food. I think that is kind of I wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite, but I would lean towards it at this point in regards to like as far as value and what you're doing. I would say it's kind of one of the best ones out there as far as a fry food goes. I would say that that's probably the best one. If anybody's super confused, here's a link to the fry food, and then you guys can check that out if you want, or not. Don't check it out. But it is 10% off right now. So I definitely find that all to be very appreciative. People are saying to check out JBL food. I don't think I've ever tried JBL food. I've tried a few other brands, and I'm not going to name names because I don't feel like there's any benefit from me naming names, but I've tried other brands of food, and I've definitely tried other brands of food that I was completely unhappy with. One of the brands of food I tried out, it totally threw my reef out of whack, and all my fish were fine, except both of my sailfin tangs got sick and died, which, you know, that's like one of those things. I check the water parameters pretty regularly in my reef. As you guys know, if you have a reef, you got to be on it, and I was definitely on it. The one and only thing that I changed was the food I was feeding, and they became sick really quickly and died really quickly right after using that food. And you know, so I've tried some other foods, and who knows what the deal is with that. People are saying that there's weird repeating going on. I don't know what that is. My guess is it's on your guys' end. You might have to reload or something. I don't know. I don't know what to do, but it's only been intermittent that things have been repeating. So I'm guessing that it probably has something to do with just YouTube or YouTube's feed or something like that. So try to refresh. I don't know. Some people said to pause it for like 15 seconds and then start it back up, and that seemed to work. I don't know what it is. Oh, somebody asked. Let's see. Somebody asked a question up here, and I missed it. Oh, Benjamin P. Can anyone recommend a good heater controller? Also, thoughts on using an Apex system for freshwater. Okay, heater controllers. This has been, that has been an ongoing issue for a long, long time. Phoenix made a good one, and then they were making not so good ones. I forget who else was making one. Currently, right now, I'm using the Fluval heaters because they seem to have a controller built into them that actually has an LED readout, and it just lets you know if it has any kind of problem. So those seem to be working, but either a Reef Keeper or an Apex system I have found to be the most consistent. If you're going to have a heater controller, if you're going to have it do something, if you're going to have it do this, or if you're going to have it do that, depending on what you're going to do, I would... A Reef Keeper Lite has been fairly useful for keeping keeping the heater controlled, keeping the temperature correct, and also tracking if something has gone wrong. Apex controllers, I cannot recommend them enough. They are super awesome. I have nothing to do with that company. I don't make any money if anybody sells one or buys one or any of that kind of stuff. If Apex is out there watching, go ahead and send me 6 or 7 of those controllers, and I will demo them every single week forever. Shameless self-plug. Hashtag self-plug. Where's the free plug, right? Either way, I could definitely recommend utilizing an Apex controller if you could get one. They are super, super expensive for most people. So that really is so that is most likely going to be the biggest deal, you know, is it's literally going to have to be the cost. The cost is the biggest deal. Apex controllers work fantastically, 100%. They give you a ton of information, but boy howdy, are they expensive. Let me see how much one is right now. I won't want to be out of control here. Let's see. Let's see if we can't find one. Apex controller at... Well, here's one. At BRS. Here, Amazon. We have an Amazon, you guys. Oh. Let me see here. Neptune Systems. Let me look this up. Paste. What? Oh, they got Kessel lights popped up. Wow, those aren't expensive at all. $349 for one tuna light. I don't know. That seems like a lot. Where is it? Where'd it go? Okay, guys, we had it here. Where did this goofy thing go? I swear, I found it, and now I lost it. What's wrong with Amazon? Okay, here we go. Copy. Let's put this over here. We'll hit paste. We'll go all departments, right? Because that makes sense. Hey guys, this is the show while we watch. Oh, snap. Okay, here's the good one. So, so the good one. Copy. Okay, so here's the good one. It's listed at $800 from some kind of third-party seller. I don't know. Let's see who the third-party seller is. Pro Merchandiser. That's legit. Either way, they're about $700 to $800 pretty typically. But this might be what you would be looking for right here. In regards to temperature control and that kind of stuff. That is the Apex Junior, okay? It is only $239, okay? And it's basically going to give you the stuff that you want out of for a freshwater system. It basically does the pH, it does the temp, it controls some lights and stuff. So you won't need a light timer. Amongst some other things, you could also plug in your return pump or your filter or whatever you're using. So not only could you monitor some stuff, but you could also control some stuff. So you could control the lights and all that kind of stuff. So that might be a route that you might want to go. It's $240 versus the $800. So that you might be able to take the Neptune, the Apex Junior, the Junior, right? Oh, sorry. I forgot I turned the volume up. I don't mean to yell into the microphone. He's wild. So you might be able to take the junior version and then be able to utilize that a little bit better for your needs. Might be a good way to go. Ooh, Simply Beta is here. I think we have a fan, because that's 2 live streams in a row. The Simply Beta has been here. And I will admit, I am also a fan of Simply Beta. So maybe this is a two-way street of fandom. I enjoy that. That seems like a good deal to me. If we get to watch each other's YouTube videos, I'll give that 2 thumbs up. Sounds good to me. So, but maybe that to get back on point, maybe the Apex Junior might be a better bet for a freshwater situation. So, I would give that a shot and figure it out. Matsta 101 says, Joel, have you ever kept fish within the wrong water hardness with success? Want to keep tetras and discus with super hard water. Is it possible without killing my fish? Yeah, no. I first of all, I can't advise that. I know I have adjusted pH many times, but hardness is just gonna be it's gonna be too hard to navigate. It's going to be too difficult to navigate, honestly, and it's going to be problematic. It's just not the route to go. You could mess around with pH, you could adjust pH and that kind of stuff, but water hardness is just going to be too much. Well, for that specific fish. Let me double check and read this again. Tetras and discus. So tetras, yes, you can deal with some hard water and things if you keep the tannins up really high and you're able to drop the pH down. You could probably do it. Discus, no, I just wouldn't even bother. I would not. I wouldn't bother it personally. It just would be. First of all, it'd be really bad advice, and I think it's really one of those things that. If it was good advice or if people were pulling it off, I would see it around there. I would see it around forums or whatever, but it's not great. RJ Else's stream is going nuts here, cutting/repeating. I don't know what that is. It seems to be like some people's YouTube is doing something weird. I don't know why. I don't know what that is. So I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously, I'd like to be more successful and not have stuff stream brokenly, but I'm trying. Popsicle says tetras in liquid rock are fine if bred in liquid rock. Yeah, you can adapt tetras and stuff, but discus I wouldn't even bother. You're just gonna lose a lot, and the fish will suffer for it. That'll be the bad thing. Uv Deloriac says, I think there's internet traffic. I think that's what's going on. They're basically, I think it's just internet traffic or YouTube's doing something weird or whatever, because I'm not dropping any frames over here. So, and we'll see after it processes. Maybe it was all screwed up on my end. I don't know. But for now, I just got to continue ever forward because a lot of people are saying it's working fine. So I don't know. Fun with Fish. The $5 Canadian super chat says, hey, Joel, I have a goldfish that has Popeye. In addition to frequent water changes, what would your treatment method be? I would definitely keep the food. Keep the food as healthy as possible. Whatever you can do to up their natural immunity, that's for sure. There's some possibility that you might want to go with some, how do you even say it? I always say this wrong. And fish. How do you say this? Maricin, right? Maricin. I think that's how you say it. I would look into some Maricin, something like that. That's antibacterial, can help out a little bit. That's kind of what I would be going for. Let's see. Use a surge strip that's always connected to that. Oh, okay. Yeah, Popsicle, you can't do outside links into the chat if you aren't a moderator or me, right? But Morrison would be if I had to medicate, that would be my go-to for Popeye. But realistically, keeping the water clean and keeping the water changes up and making all that stuff go the direction that you want would be food and good water changes and possibly some Morrison. That would be the only thing that I would even bother to try and treat. Wushu Jimmy Brown, our social media person at work, has had some downloading issues today and yesterday, so it could well be the internet. Yeah, I know Fridays are pretty heavy traffic days for the internet, so it could be that. It could be YouTube's fixing things or breaking things or doing whatever. Maybe they released a new thing that's tracking us like Skynet, and we'll find out what's going on. Big Andy says, this is like the first time I have watched live, and I'm loving the chat part. Please do the show at this time more often if you can love the show and always keep up the good work. All right, so attention to anyone who is watching this show. If you go... Where's my phone? Hold on. So if you go to... Hold on. Let's go to YouTube. Let's make this thing go crazy. Okay. Hold on. There. Okay. Close that. Okay. So if you guys or girls or whoever, if you go to the video that has been uploaded, right? So let's say this is the live stream that I wanted to watch, right? See this button right here? I don't know how to do this backwards. See that live chat button right there? I don't know. Oh, I just gave myself a thumbs down. I just thumbs down this live stream live. Nice. Okay, so that live stream button, if you click on it, right? Any of the old videos over the last 4 months, I think, something like that, 5 months, will have that button on it after the fact. You'll be able to hit that button, and it shows the live chat of what was actually happening while it was happening, right? So it'll actually show, and that chat will all scroll by if you hit that button. So check that out. If that makes it more interactive for you, it's great that you guys... This is another one of those reasons to show up while the show is happening. And also, I try to recommend people, like, if there's a better time for you guys, let me know in the comments on the video. And I will take that into account as far as the future scheduling goes. You know, right? So I would take that into account. Let's see. Kathy Gesh says her stream is solid, so it's working well in some markets, and some other markets it's not going that great. Let's see. Enoch Sound is asking, what's the best way to kill snails in my canisters without killing the bacteria? Manual removal is going to be the best way. I guess sanitizing the whole system, which I'm not a huge fan of. You could drop the pH. You could drop the pH and use RO water, and eventually the snail's shells will all deteriorate and eventually die off. That might be a way to do it. Almost every treatment that gets rid of snails will probably kill most of the bacteria off and stuff like that. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't personally go that route, honestly. I think manual removal is kind of my favorite way to go. Obviously, you can add a fish that eats them, but then you have to get snails for the fish that wants to eat snails later on, once they've eaten them all. So that's always kind of an issue. But we're running out of time. We got to get to the Patreon questions. If you've never been to the Patreon, you should definitely go check it out. And it's a great opportunity for you guys to be a part of the community, be a part of the... I mean, obviously, there's a portion of it that's the funding portion, which... I've had lots of people be critical of me, being like, I don't understand, man, like, you want Patreon, like, you want us to pay for your job? Well, I haven't got to the point yet where any company has stepped up to pay, and so it's been you guys. So I've always just been doing the show for you guys, and that's how it goes. So I just try to bring you guys the best thing that I can do. And I get it. I kind of suck. Someday, I'll have a helper here, and they'll show me how to do things properly, and I'll be able to figure it out. Jared RB is our first contributor. But I think I answered this last week, but I'm going to go over it again. Hey, guys, I have a planted 40-gallon breeder tank with a Matin filter that could turn up to 400 gallons per water per hour. I will have many red cherry shrimp and pest snails. How many neon tetras would be too many for them to be comfortable? I don't want to overcrowd them. Also, I would like a few bottom dwellers if possible. Something that likes to stay near the top. I think I answered this last week, but, 40 to 80 tetras is going to be fine. I would probably go with something like Corey's or something along those lines, which I think is mentioned down here, with tetras, you could go a lot as long as you can feed them and keep the water changes going good. I wouldn't be too worried about it. And then, but 6 autos, this is not good. I would not do any less than 20 auto sinkless. They come from giant schools, you guys, and you really got to take that in consideration. Like, auto sinkless cannot handle just being around a couple other ones. They need to be around a lot of their fish. I would definitely consider that. And or bottom dwellers, I would probably go with something personally myself. I would probably go with something like bristlenose Plecos or something along those lines. But you got the Starabi Corys on there, and Starabis would be great. I think that would be fantastic, and they do pretty well in a 40-gallon. Wet Sleeves giving us a shout-out saying, thought I would say hello and cheers for all the great content. Keep up the good work. All right. Well, thanks for chiming in. I like that. It's hard to not say thank you to a thank you post. Ooh, we got Wet Sleeves with a double post. Says, I thought I should share the tank I'm working on at the moment. Thanks for having me. Alyssa is asking, how long was it to plant the carpet? And it says a good 6 or 7 hours. As you can see the painstaking dwarf hairgrass being planted here. And I'm not sure what size this tank is, but it is looking, in this picture at least, it's looking monster long. It looks like it's as long as the 240 or something. Maybe it's a little bit shorter. It's clearly shallower. It's not as deep, but that's a cool looking tank. Like, let's get right here. That's a cool looking tank, and I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that grown in personally. Alyssa Bentley got here just in time for the Patreon questions. You got good timing. Coming in hot and fresh. Benjamin says, I suck so much I dislike my own stream. That's right, I accidentally disliked my own stream. Maybe you guys can counter effect my dislike. There was already some other people disliking on there. I'm not sure why, but, either way. Kyle Hobbs was asking in the chat, would there be a benefit to use rainwater for water changes? Money. It's definitely going to save money. If you're trying to have really low pH stuff, that's a benefit too. It's fairly clean often, so that's a benefit. Maybe you got Flint, Michigan water, and you're like, I don't want to poison all my fish, so maybe you have to collect rainwater to do your water changes. That might be a benefit too. So I would consider that. Let's see here. What happened? Quick question for you guys. How often do you feed shrimp in a shrimp-only tank? In my shrimp-only tanks, I only feed my shrimp once every other day. I don't feed them every day. I find that to be too much, and it ends up with planaria and stuff like that. Every other day is sort of a happy medium between dropping the food in there, them being excited enough to eat it. I do not feed any more than that. Although you guys know, I keep my shrimp in big, heavily planted tanks. So that might be the thing to take into consideration, right? I would definitely take that into consideration, that I put my shrimp into what most people consider giant aquariums with sumps on them even. So I feed every other day. It just means I got a lot of biofilm and a lot of ability for them to handle it. So in the smaller, like 20-gallon breeders and stuff like that I used to do in the past, I would I would feed once a day, unless I had a ton of fry. And then if I had a ton of fry, I would feed probably 3 times a day, but just a tiny bit of ground up food would be pretty much all I would do. Just a minuscule pinch. Just a tiny amount. Nick's Fish Room chiming in with, hey, Fish Fam, here's a short look at part of my fish room and a Hamburg Matten-equipped ply fiberglass tank I built. Yeah, and let me be honest with you, Nick built these cool fiberglass tanks. It seems to be like one of the few fiberglass tank projects that I've seen in a really long time that actually looks like a legit aquarium that actually is made out of plywood. So if you want to check out that build thread, that's something that will probably help you out a little bit if that's something that you want to make. Other than that, he says, they took a long time to build, but I'm happy with the results. Thanks for all the inspiration and community, everybody. Special thanks to you, Joel, for your support and advice. Hey, man, anytime. I love it. I love this community. I love being around you guys. I love answering questions and being a part of it. That's like my jammy. You know what I mean? That's my jam. Pamela Early Wine sending in on the 24th. So this is, we're a couple days out here from, we got ourselves some hay bales looking nice. I don't know if these are sheep or lamb. They're either lamb or, well, maybe they're lambs. They might be harvesting some lanolin, right? Anyhow, she says, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the end of my driveway looking towards the mountains. Everything has a surreal orangish look to it. Air is heavy with the smell of wood smoke and occasional drifts of powdery white ash coming down. I feel your pain, you guys. You know, smog doesn't bother me that much, but I will tell you, the forest fires, when that starts to get out of hand, that air really kills me. And yes, it does have that post-apocalyptic crazy vibe to it, and that's pretty intense. And what a drag! And what a drag when, you know, stuff gets burnt up and things get burnt up and stuff like that, right? So I don't know, but that air really bothers me. I'll tell you that. At 54 punchy, just got another tank for an axolotl. We need 20. We all need 23 tanks, you know. That's a little wild. Hot tip here. We got a hot tip from the Popsicle saying $1 per gallon sale comes back in 2 days. Woo! $1 per gallon sale. Yeah, I highly recommend the $1 per gallon sale, you guys. That's just the best way to buy a tank. I mean, it's so cheap. It's so cheap, and they're brand new. So who cares, right? You can just do any of those weird projects you always wanted to, and you know, you just always be sure to get some good lights from Fluval or some good products from Dennerley or whatever. I don't know. I'm not very good at commercials or anything like that. Adam Stevens with the Fish of the Week post. Man, props. This is a really dope picture. I like it. Not only do I like the fish, okay? Like, hey, back off. Back off before y'all gonna yell at me, okay? I like the fish a lot. Beautiful fish, so it makes it a little easier to take pretty pictures. What the? Sorry, I had driftwood back here stabbing me in the leg. It does make it easier if the subject of the picture is attractive. Right? It does make it a little bit easier to take a good picture. But it does take some skill and whatnot to take a good picture. And I really do appreciate this piece of photography right here. I like this a lot. Although you missed the frame on the tail, we'll let it go. Because they're just, sometimes you get a beautiful beta shot. It's majestic. I'm liking it. Maybe you need a full frame camera so you don't miss this little edge right here. You know, I don't know. Let me catch back up with the chat here a little bit while you guys look at this lovely picture. Lisa Pet says, I have to catch up with the live as I can't stay awake with the kids in school at different times of day. Ooh, man, I don't know. We got a baby on the way. I don't think we're gonna have another baby. I think we're gonna stick with the one. We might end up having the one and only child. We're probably gonna stick with the one, but I feel your pain with the kids going to school at different times. That is crazy. I don't know how people deal with that. That's nuts. Other than just acting wild. Let's see here. Moving on up to Ollie H. Saying, hey, Joel, been growing this lobelia for a few months. Has suddenly had a growth spurt and is now getting out of hand. Can I cut it back? Or do I replant the tops and remove the bottoms like a stem plant? Well, that's really up to you, dependent on what you want to do or what you don't want to do with the tank. Lobelia, I treat like a stem plant. So oftentimes, unless I'm propagating, I will trim them, replant the tops, and go that route. I pretty much always treat it the same way as a stem plant because I find it to react just like a stem plant because it probably is a stem plant. So that's the way that I would go. The scape's looking dope, so I would probably wait on it for a little bit because it's still looking good before I go to trim it. But it sounds like you're on the ball with your trimming, so maybe just go for it and get it back to where you want it to be. So, but looks good, man. Everything is looking really healthy in here. Corey's looking great. Ram's looking pretty good. Obviously, this is probably just the camera angle, kind of washing them out a little bit. Auto's moving about, doing what they're supposed to be doing, getting a little bit of cleaning. I'm loving this. It's a good shotតoo. You guys, you're just getting better and better at the hobby, and that's what I like to see. We like to see improvement. Just like we see Flashkin here sending in, looking at a DIY Griggs reactor for a 180 with a 75 sump, sorry. The reactor will run on a standalone pump and draw and dump into the return section of the sump, which is probably what I would do. I would probably move the pump over into this chamber. No, I wouldn't. No, I would leave it in there. What am I thinking? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I would leave it in the end chamber. Sorry. I don't know why I'm saying, move it. Never mind. Keep it there. Plan design is a 3-inch PVC tube at 28 inches high. I would like to build a bubble counter into the reactor intake instead of the primary tube. Do you see any issue with the bubble counter design? I think the height and diameter counter of the bubble being swept into the current. What would be the recommended gallon per hour for the pump? Am I able to move the 4-inch PVC if needed? Okay, so what you'd have to do here that's a little bit different, the bubble counter is what has to move here. So as you guys know, you put the mineral oil into your bubble counter, right? And that's what the CO2 is going through so that you're able to count how fast it's going. Matza 101 is asking Griggs reactor. I have a build on one of them. So look up DIY CO2 reactor on my channel, on the YouTube channel. I've built a lot of CO2 reactors, and there's a bunch of them on there, so you'll find one. But so with this bubble counter, it's actually going to have to move over here so that otherwise the mineral oil will get pulled into the unit, which I don't think it would really do anything negative to anything in the tank, but I would definitely go move the bubble counter over here so you actually just have the CO2 line plumbed right in to right here. That's how I would do it. And I generally just use the section here that's clear to make sure I have the right amount of CO2 bubbling around in there. I'm just used to setting it that way. So I just don't utilize bubble counters right now. It's not like I don't want to. I just don't. I don't know why. Maybe I have an allergy to it. Maybe that's the case. Something happened. Amazon's telling me something. Oh my God, you guys. Somebody just ordered us cloth diapers. Whoa. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I don't know who it's from yet. I don't know. Somebody ordered us some diapers. What does this do? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm confused. I got an email from Amazon that said somebody bought us diapers. I'm excited. I appreciate it. Thanks. Anyhow, so back to the reactor plan here and what's going on. The bubble counter, I would just move over there, and then what would be the recommended gallon per hour for the pump? I'm able to move to 4-inch PVC if needed. So you're just going to need a valve here on the end to restrict the amount of flow going into it. The pump itself is actually pretty simple to come across. So if you have a 3-inch, you're going to need 600 gallons per hour, which I think if you're looking at the Rio pumps, I think there's like, you know, a 580 and then like a 642 or something goofy like that. So something in that range. If you're going with the 4-inch, you might have to go a little bit bigger, but you can always fill it up and utilize a smaller pump if you happen to have one already. And you're just going to need a, gosh, what am I thinking? A ball valve on the end of this right here so that the pump can push against and completely fill it up with water. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So as long as you have that ball valve on the end of there, that would be the route that I would go. And you should be good to go. That's a pretty darn good design, to be honest with you. Admiral Blackbeard sent in, I have this Scarlet Temple for about a week and wondering, is melting back or is it dying? Easy green 2 times a week, easy iron 3 times, and easy carbon just about every day. Root tabs and CO2 has lost some of its color. I would say at this point, it's probably in conversion mode. I'm thinking. I'm not 100% sure. Though it is throwing roots and stuff, you do have some algae built up. So I can see a little bit of dusting of algae and things like that are going on this Scarlet Temple. It doesn't look like really anything's melting except for some of the old stuff. So I would, at this point, realistically, I would say patience, because I can see some of the stamen right here that are actually like popping out and seem to be sprouting. So I would just say patience at this point, Blackbeard, Admiral Blackbeard. I would just say maintain with some patience and keep rocking and rolling. It sounds like you're doing everything that you could possibly do at this point. So I would just keep going. Joel Swain, dude's got an awesome name, obviously, right? Hello. Says, hello, I love the show. Here's a pic of my 75-gallon rainbow tank, 2 Eheim Pro 3 canister filters, Eheim air pump, 48-inch Fluval plant 2.0. Hope to get into CO2. Nice. This jungle valve's growing. It's like perfect right there for the moment. And then the jungle valve's going to grow completely out of control. So this is a perfect time to have taken that picture because it's doing quite well. As you guys know, jungle valve's super invasive and that kind of stuff. So don't ever flush it down the toilet. I've heard of people doing that, and don't flush jungle valve down the toilet. You'll have a local problem pretty soon. Oh, and sorry, I was wondering if you can tell me what's going on pretty much with all my Anubias. Thank you. Your Anubias... Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can't... Let me see if I can't find... Let me see if I can't find this image. Oh, yeah. Got it right here. Hold on. Let's see. What is this doing? Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Where is it? Aha. No. Aha. There it is. Okay. So here's the thing what I got to do. So I got to go smart screen selection, and then I got to go like this. Aha. There we go. See if I can move it and make it bigger. You know how cool this is, you guys. This guy's on the internet doing internet stuff. Let me turn on my whiteboard. Where's my whiteboard? Where's that button? New files. Images. Oh. Where is the whiteboard? Oh, there it is. Okay. Cool. So, here we go. Oh, man. It's stuck on the worst color ever. We want bright red, and then we want it like that, and then we got to clear the whiteboard. Okay. So, hopefully you guys can see that, but right here, so you can see iron. New growth is yellow and white. Old growth will appear normal. Okay, we don't have that. Manganese. Almost always everybody has some kind of deficiency with manganese. Always, always, always. Get yourself some good stuff. Potassium, yellowing of the tips and edges, right? If calcium's missing, you're going to have stunted growth. Nitrogen deficiency, old growth and yellow and wilted. New growth, light green. Magnesium, CO2, leaves coming with this stunted light growth. Phosphate, lots of leaves coming in a darker hue. So this will give you just a little bit of an example of what we're looking at here. So let me turn off the whiteboard. Let me move this. So what do we got going on here? What do we got going on here that could be happening? We got a little potassium happening. We've got a little bit of nitrogen happening. And we got a little manganese missing. Doesn't seem to be iron because the newer leaves don't seem to have that much iron deficiency or phosphate. Or, you know, it seems like they're probably getting at least enough CO2 to not really be a big issue. But this right here is a good illustration of what's going on with your plant. So let's cover me up a little bit and take a look here. We've got fertilizer deficiencies. We are missing some fertilizers and whatnot. That can be remedied pretty easily. My recommendation pretty often happens to be the Easy Green, right? I normally go with the Easy Green. These days I go with the Easy Green. You guys know I used to do EI dosing. I used to mix my own fertilizers. I used to make my own dry fertilizers. You know, I probably had the police looking in my window on a regular basis wondering what I was up to because of how many dry fertilizers I'd get delivered and all that kind of stuff. I don't find that to be beneficial in my life or my days or the stuff that I'm trying to do on a regular basis. It really is just kind of a waste of time, personally. And Easy Green, just the cost, how easy it is to get shipped out or anything like that, Thrive, any of that kind of stuff. There's so many good fertilizers now that are just set up and ready to go. That would be the way that I would go. So that's generally speaking what I would do. Thank you for sending that in, Joel. That's awesome. Johan with the big fish of the week, the Bulldog Pleco. Different titles like rubber nose, rubber lip, rubber top Pleco. Well, you know, it's got a lot of common names. The Bulldog Pleco achieve a moderate size of around 6 inches long and usually display a docile temperament. These two characteristics make sure they are ideally suited to community tanks and exotic planet aquariums. Bulldog Pleco are good at mixing in using their environment and therefore are usually seldom observed in well-planted aquarium conditions. That's one of the big issues with the rubber lip Plecos, man. I dig them. I think they're awesome, but they're just gone. They're just gone in the tank. I've had them in there, just like clown Plecos. I've had them in there. Like, where are they? I don't know. The only thing I ever notice is that they poop. And I'm like, I'm not getting the benefit from the plant, from this fish that I really want. But someday I'll have a big enough fish place that I get an opportunity to actually keep those again. For right now, we're going to stick to the a few other species that are going to be coming in fairly soon. Aqua Fuzzy sent in a couple of questions. First, what's the smallest ISO tank nanofish can go in? I have a few 2.5s, green eye tetras, and I have a school of bloodfins waiting to be rehomed in a 5-gallon. They'll all be gone soon. Should I be waiting until the 5 is empty before I get the next batch of green eyes? Secondly, I sadly had a beta drop. Okay, so the first part, nanofish, yeah, I mean, you can do small, tiny, micro tanks. You can, whatever they're called, there's a name for them other than nano. But you could do micro tanks and stuff like that. It's a huge pain. I don't recommend it. I honestly don't recommend it. I just definitely don't recommend it personally because it's just not a great way to go. A 5.5-gallon tank is basically the minimum. I feel personally for me, I guess the 8-gallon for me would be a minimum. So a 12-inch by 12-inch by 12-inch cube. That's sort of the minimum size tank I really would ever go with ever again. I mean, not to say that I wouldn't do some smaller tanks, but I just wouldn't put fish in them. I guess the limitation here is that you're going to have fish. They're going to need an environment that's healthy. And we know that the smaller you get, the more unhealthy the environment gets, and it just becomes really difficult to maintain parameters and stuff like that. So I wouldn't go any slower. Okay. Or any smaller, personally. But if you do have a healthy situation going on, with those little green-eyed tetras, they are tiny, tiny little guys. So it is possible that you might be able to add more. I personally wouldn't, though. You know, I just wouldn't. But the second part here, says, I sadly got a beta die of dropsy last week. Do I have to sterilize the tank and throw out the plants, or can I just drain, refill, and put seeded media in there? Okay, so you can just drain, refill, and put seeded media in there. That's basically what I would do. Dropsy is normally a secondary disease from something else having happened to their fish. It's normally like maybe they got internal bleeding, maybe they got sick, maybe they got this and that. Dropsy is normally the bacterial infection that is from... You know, it's the secondary infection. I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough. But you definitely can reuse the tank. I wouldn't worry that much about it. I would add some Epsom salt for maybe 3 days, 4 days, or something like that, and you should be fine. That'll help a little bit. It's got the magnesium sulfate in it, or you can actually add the Morrison if you want. That'll help clear up some of the bacteria that possibly could be in there. But dropsy is super confusing because it's normally a secondary condition. So dropsy is normally just like, it's such a bad thing to see because it's like they were already sick before. Now they're even more sick. So you know, I don't think you'd be able to treat them, but I wouldn't worry too much about the tank. I would just do some changes, add some Epsom salts and things, and you'll be generally fine. Moving on to another fish going into the tank. It's really, really, really super rare, and it's not a contagious disease because it'd be like if I had cancer, right, and then I got the flu, right? The flu would be the secondary disease that I got. Now, I would be contagious for a little bit, obviously, because this is people versus fish. I'm just trying to come up with a good analogy here. But as long as you guys weren't right in my face for the first, like, 24 to 30 hours, you probably wouldn't catch my flu after the fact, you know? So, you know, hopefully, I don't know, hopefully that explains it a little bit. I wouldn't be that stressed out about reusing the tank. I would just do the drain and fill a couple times, and seed it with some with a tank that has healthy bacteria. Oh no! Oh. Sorry, guys. You know what's weird? I have to set alarms for things, otherwise I'll miss stuff like the dentist appointment. All right, Simply Beta sent in a $5 super chat saying, help, any ideas of how to turn a single trash can into a sump? It is doable. I've found in my experience, unless you can get the perfectly straight side trash cans, so the square trash cans, the bulkheads, if you add bulkheads into it, they almost always fail because of the roundness of the trash can, right? So you have those flat bulkheads and you have the roundness of the can. You drill a hole in it, you put the bulkhead in there. Eventually the bulkhead's just going to pull out. It's not going to quite go the way that you want it. You know, it's just going to pull out and it's going to leak all over the place. So if you can get a flat side trash can, then you'd be in action. I personally like those rectangular trash cans. I like those for water reservoirs and stuff like that. I will be adding some to the fish room here after I'm done with the air quote remodel that I'm working on right now. I'll be adding some of those, so maybe if that's confusing, maybe I could come up with a link and show you. But they're normally, I think they're listed at like 23 gallons, I think is what size they are. I know that like Home Depot and all of the standard... all of the standard kind of Home Depot, Lowe's, anything like that, the hardware stores, those normally have them. But the best advice that I would have with that is that you're just going to end up with a drain and fill and a heat situation. So it'll add you some water volume, but I don't think it's going to do too much for you unless you drop some kind of basket in it that can actually clean the water, and then you're going to have to pull the fiber out and all that kind of stuff, as long as you have it going in a centrifuge kind of deal. So, maybe that's something that you could do. I don't know. Marcus is... What's going on? Okay, thanks, guys. Let's see. Is it hard to vacuum? Oh, yeah. Oh, he was asking about blasting sand earlier. Okay, sounds like you guys got it figured out. Pool filter sand's kind of my favorite if you need sand, really, realistically. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question. You can run a centrifuge or something like that type sump deal out of a trash can, but I wouldn't highly recommend it. It's kind of a waste of time. It's a really good way to spill water all over the place. I know a lot of the DIY guys that used to build them out of trash cans almost always posted pictures of floods all over the place in their fish rooms later on. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. I would normally find, like Blake's Aquatics says, I just picked up a 55-gallon full setup on Craigslist for $20. There you go. That's what I look for. First of all, I look for old, like, acrylic tanks to make into a sump, which, as a matter of fact, I've got a, 140-gallon or something like that in the garage. That's just a really ugly, acrylic tank, but it's super solid. I'm going to use it as a sump, probably for the pond, I'm thinking at this point. But that's what I look for to make sumps out of. That's the best way. Or you could just do an old glass tank that you can find for really cheap. Or the $1 per gallon sale is coming up, so you can probably get a 55 for like $55, and that might be just about how much a really nice garbage can costs too. So let's see here. Karen Pepe, what's up? Said, could I use sand that's for bearded dragons, reptiles in an aquarium? I just have a bunch, and I was wondering. I'm not sure. I'd have to see what kind of sand it is to let you know whether or not. With sand, you always want to make sure to just work your way through the silicate deal, which is, there's a lot of silicates in sand, so often. So you are going to have to work through all those diatoms and that kind of stuff and get it cycled and run through the diatoms and not freak out when you get the diatoms. They will go away. Don't worry. It's all part of the cycling system. So wouldn't freak out that much. Casey Moen says, speaking of sumps, what size sump would you recommend for a 180? Typically, I go about half a size on the sump. Obviously, a 90-gallon tank is kind of a weird one. But I normally go about half size of what the display tank is. So the 120s, I have one of the 120s that's going in, I have like a 60-gallon, something like that. The 60-gallon cube that the reef is in now is actually got a 32-gallon sump on it. So I normally just go about half the size. You know, so if you had a 180, you'd probably be okay with whatever tank you could find that's in that range. That's a reasonable price. Like I said, that 140, I'd probably just cut the top off, cut it down a little bit, which is the plan anyhow, and then put some baffles in it and go from there. All right, guys. Well, I have got to go to my dentist appointment. Don't forget that the Aquarium Co-op, I don't even know. That's an Amazon link. Whoops. You guys, that's the wrong link. What am I doing? What is this? Amateur hour? Copy. Go over here. Click on this. Sorry, I put the wrong link in there. It's that link. That's the one that you want. Remember, the Coop has a sale, 10% off everything on that website this weekend. Be sure to use my link to head over there, because then it tells you that it'll tell Corey that I sent you, you know, which is always good. That's always the good stuff. But the 10% off this weekend, that's awesome. I'm going to have to get rolling here because I got to go get my teeth taken care of. I want to say a special thank you to Brandon Wagner, Rogue Aquariums, Fun with Fish, and Simply Beta for your super chats today. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I totally appreciate it. It really is. I really do appreciate it. Also, a big shout out to Tony Franzen for coming in as our newest Oceaneer on the Patreon. Thanks, man. I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's Antonio or something. Antonia. I don't know. Maybe Tony's short for, I don't know. Thank you, human. Thank you, fellow human being. Hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend out there. Don't go shooting off any fireworks or doing anything ridiculous. It's always going to be problematic. It's never going to be a good idea. Don't do any burnouts in the four-way stop. That's an intersection. You're supposed to be doing intersection stuff. Don't be doing burnouts in there. I like to go down to the the mall parking lot at night when I want to do my burnouts. That's a better place than the intersection. Stay off the main streets. Keep it safe, you guys. Let's just keep it safe, you know? Let's just do that so we can make it to Monday. And then, boom, we're back to work. And then we're all stressed out and having a hard time wondering what's the big deal. Oh, man, we got some late super chats, you guys. We got one from Big Jerem 86. Thanks, man. And Steve's Fish Place. Aw, Steve, you have an easy name you changed your name to an easy name now, which is good. Oh, and Tony says fully male. Okay, thanks, man. You know, I don't want to be, I don't want to be accidentally misgendering anybody. You know how that goes. Next thing you know, it's on the news and people are freaking out, and I don't know. People get upset because it's 2018. And, oh, by the way, I said I wasn't going to talk about any of the Supreme Court stuff, and I'm not going to talk about anything specifically about the Supreme Court stuff, but I wanted to tell you guys here at the end of the show, like I said, be safe out there because we all have a bright, brilliant future. I want to remind you guys, as fellow humans, to the Americans that are there and everyone else in the world. This is a very important message I got for you, okay? In the United States, there's been a lot of drama around the Supreme Court. And I would remind you guys that there is a very, very, very small portion of our population that controls the majority of our government. The executive, the legislative, and the judicial, okay? We have very, very small groups of people that are controlling our government, controlling our future. And I don't want to have a discussion about whether or not somebody had indiscretions in their past or whatnot, okay? I don't want to talk about any of that stuff because that's none of my business at this point. But what is my business is that you notice that we're talking right now on the internet. Do you notice that we are live right now on the internet? Yes, there's a little bit of stuttering for some people. There's a few issues with what's going on. We had people from Greenland. We had people from Germany. We had people from Malaysia. We've had people from all around the world that I'm communicating with today. We have the technology to implement a better idea than putting one or two people in control. So We need to start thinking about how do we start expressing to other folks, how do we actually vote for the laws that are going to govern us, okay? That's the thing that I really want to get out with you guys. Hey, there's got to be a better system. There's got to be a better system than voting people in place to take control. It just doesn't seem like a good idea in this day and age. And moving forward, we have the technology to implement a much better system. I want you guys all to have a fantastic weekend. Continue to be safe out there. Sorry about the little rant here at the end. I know. It's not political. It's not even political. We need to get rid of politics. We need to get rid of that stuff. We need to start voting on the things that happen to us. Legit. 100%. We need to do that. Real democracy at some point in time. Why not now? Have a fantastic